Well, it's been a great season at FC Gifu, and for this rare occasion, we get to celebrate early success in the Head Coach series. However, after we do that with a title party and our season review today, all action and all eyes will turn to the future. Will we go for another job elsewhere? And what level of opportunity might we be given? Yes, hello and welcome along to part 12 of this FM24 Head Coach story with me, Daniel. We are back today to play 17th place Nara in a dead rubber at the end of the year, but it is also an important day for FC Gifu, a chance to go past 100 points and win promotion in the ultimate style. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to pull that off today in spite of a couple of key injuries. We know about Park, Yota Komi joined him on the injury list, but it's not all about that for now. We're going to get through our final game, we're going to see a couple of youngsters in action, and we'll have our season review and reflect on one of our best ever early seasons in a head coach save. But then we've got to look to the future. Can we find another job? What sort of level can we expect to get one? And if not, what sort of position are we going to be in leading FC Gifu into the higher level? Because I have no idea how our squad will compare to the rest. If you're looking forward to finding out the answers to all of that, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. I'm sorry that it's been a boring season for you because I've been winning and doing well. It doesn't often happen at this stage of the head coach, but I thoroughly enjoyed my year in Japan. Let's go and start by having a quick look at the schedule, see how we've been getting on in our last few games, and then of course we'll go through to the final one of the season before off the pitch matters take priority. So we begin by looking at the 3 games that we played off camera, which to be fair have all been pretty comfortable victories. We started against Fujieda with a 3-0 win. Yuzuki Hanya started and continues to settle in well. Been a really good signing. He got the opener. Akita and Najim, who is now on penalty duties, got the 3rd. Fukushima away, actually a bit of a favour to the team we beat in the last episode because this result meant that Kagoshima got promoted with us because Fukushima were 3rd at the time. We won 3-1 there with an Akita brace and a goal from Yota Komi, and then a 4-0 win at home to Totori. A few players missing for this one. Fujioka back in due to the Komi injury. He scored already, set up 2 more. Kubota off the right, and both strikers, Hanya and Akita, managed to get a goal apiece. But there are a few concerns for next season looking at the squad. We're going to worry about those after this game. But for the Nara one, it is an opportunity to rotate a little bit. I've been doing 2 or 3 rather than going mad, but also giving opportunities to other people off the bench. So let's go and have a look at what we've been doing and get into our game against Nara. A final chance potentially to see us in action at FC Gifu. I would argue it's probably about 50-50 that we're here at the start of next season. I'm not just going to leave for the sake of it. It's got to be a good opportunity at a bigger reputation club because we're going up to a new level. We're going to get more eyes on us. We're getting another coaching badge here. The finances are good. We've got a good transfer budget. And there's a core of a good team here, albeit with a few holes for next year. So it's going to have to be a good one. But if that opportunity comes, we may be leaving Gifu. So I'm going to enjoy today's game just in case it is the last one in Japan. Let's go and have a look at the fixtures and see how we're getting on. We are clear on 99 points. We need 1 more win to get to 100. Even a draw will do the job today. So let's go and pick our 11. They're recommending a lot of changes. They're telling me to bring a couple of youngsters in. I'm not going to go quite that extreme today, but I will bring a couple in. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, as we said, nothing crazy because I do want to get to 100 points and keep what is a very long unbeaten run going. I think it stretches 20 odd games now. I'm sure that's the last alert we got. But let's have a look at the team for today because for the most part, it is the first 11 that have done so well for us. But you can see a couple of younger players and a couple that need a bit of experience have come in. So Ken Sugira has played most of the games at left back this month. Only one that he wasn't fit for. Rui Asako has come in the middle instead of Sumi. But I will make sure he gets off the bench today as he's retiring after. Fujioka is back on the left because of the injury we mentioned, and Hanya is definitely a regular up front now. Gomez is the man between the sticks with Najim and Sugira the fullbacks. Ortiz alongside Ibasuki as centre-half. Even in the few months he's been here, the improvement has been radical. He's a wonderful player. We've also got Kubota, Kita, Asako and Fujioka as our midfield 4. Fujioka, of course, playing that more advanced role on the left. And Hanya and Akita, the reliable front 2, with Kenzie Akita back in great form to finish the year. Let's go and see if we can finish this one in style. It's going to be one hell of a game, but we should be the favourites to get to 100 points. While no changes for our hosts, who have had a disappointing season. They're 17th, they're safe comfortably, but it's not been easy pickings. We have got a very sparsely populated away stadium here, and Nara playing 4-3-3. I would imagine they're going to be fairly cautious in this game. We'll wait and see if I'm proven wrong, as there's less than 2,000 fans in today. But I like to finish in style, and early doors, we're dealing with a long ball forward from the host, which is headed away by Ortiz, the big man. We've got to praise the director of football again today, because look at the difference these players have made. Whether we win or lose this one, I mean, he's given us such a solid base to work from, and last year, it was a big Achilles heel, this defence. He didn't improve it last summer. I was a little bit concerned, but in the winter, he's definitely done his job. As Gomez, big switch out to the left. It's an awful ball, actually. After all that praise, one of them lets us down, and Cato gets in down the right. Good ball in, which Ortiz heads poorly away. And I've had about 3 minutes there, consistently praising these players, and two of them, who were signed last winter, Ortiz the centre-half and Gomez the keeper, have made stinking mistakes there. We're 1-0 down. It's just the way it goes, isn't it? We're not really here today. We're a bit on the beach. Zagira wins it back. Early yellow for him is worrying. He's got the ball here again. And if he's going to get sent off, today is the day. Fujioka into Akita. Off the woodwork. Back in again. Hanya reacts first. The defender's absolutely nowhere. They've got a Yoshida at centre-half. It can't be Maya, can it? I would have noticed if he'd ended up here. 1-1 in 20 minutes. We're back on terms. And hopefully we can push on from here. As we've got another advanced throw. This time on the left with Zagira. Plays a 1-2 and puts a pretty poor ball in, if I'm being honest. But we'll wonder what's going to come of this, as I'm sure they'll go long. They've got no one really back trying to take the short ball. So I'd expect them to go for the big one over the top. They try to play out in the end. It's a poor one. Kubota intercepts, but they get away with it. And Sakai can break away, but Ortiz does well. He finds Ibasuki and Zagira. Had a promising start so far. Fujioka finds Akita and it's up towards Hanya. Not quite ticking there at the minute. And you can tell we've taken a few of the stars out of midfield. Comey was flying, that one's enforced. Park, of course, injured. But then taking Sumi out as well. We are lacking a little bit of creative spark and a little bit of technical ability. But Fujioka gets in on the left to Asako. Through to Akita. Cuts back for Fujioka. Should be ahead here. And that is a great finish. Akita turns provider despite his brilliant goal form recently. And Fujioka makes it 2-1. He was brilliant last game. As few games out, the team have really fired him up. And he is a crucial squad player still. Delivers a very good goal. And we go ahead after half an hour. Not looking good for the hosts here. They've not been particularly great. They've gone long this time, but Hanya wins it. And Kubota has got space to run into. Najim is outside of him. Should play a 1-2 here. Kubota's down the line. Najim goes alone though. Gets to the byline, puts in a good cross. Fujioka's up. 3-1. We are finishing in style. An early hiccup and a bit of a worry defensively. But the biggest thing this season is the improvements in defence. Yes, they've still conceded a few goals. But we've allowed this team to push on and be aggressive. To have three virtually playing up front with a really high supporting winger. It just gives us such strength going forward. As Ibasuki, he doesn't get up. I thought it was him. Ortiz is the man who heads it in. His 8th for the season. He's made amends for his mistake. 4-1 now before the break. It's a dream to watch. And if this is our last game at FC Gifu, the only thing I want to say to this team is thank you. Because for a first club, I can't remember enjoying it more. They've given us half a year to settle in. And then they've been brilliant. We'll get to the hour mark before thinking about changes. This is about the best finish to a season we could have wanted. 102 points will be amassed. Promotion will be secured as was expected in pre-season. As we're 20 minutes to go, let's make the subs. We'll give a rest to Rui Asako, who's knackered. Sumi can get his final run out for the club. Ishii will come on for Kubota, who we don't need to risk. Left back Zagira, we don't want a red card, so Endo on for him. We'll bring on Kusamoto for Hanya. And we'll bring on Ken Motso for Ibazuki. Brilliant performances from everyone. And we're 20 to go. We just enjoy it because this has been a great display. And it's been a great season. I'm out of superlatives for this side. As Najim's got a throw on the right. Have we got more goals? Najim puts one in. Fujioka. Hat-trick to finish the season. That's magic. Brilliant stuff from him cutting in from the left. It's a really good position in this team. It's been a strength for us all year. I'm just hoping that as we get through to next season, if we are still here, that we've got a strong enough side we can still play it and don't have to go more cautious. Assuming he puts a free kick in. Last chance of the game. Ortiz heads over the bar. A 5-1 victory to finish the year. To enjoy winning a title in style. What a performance from FC Gifu. What a performance from Fujioka. Now let's get ahead to our end of season messages and see what's about in a job centre. It's going to take a good job for me to want to leave this club. Well, no official end of season review because we've still got to wait for all the playoffs and everything in the league, but we have got all of our end of season messages and enough to plan for next year. So we've had the squad planner now, and we'll have a look in a minute at where the weaknesses might be here, and you can help me decide whether that's a strong enough side for Division 2. I'm not so sure about that. We have a look at this now though. The supporter profile is up again. We've grown the club both in terms of season ticket holders, social media, and a few more fans in as well. We're certainly playing entertaining attacking football. They can't argue with that. The analyst report is great. Our shooting numbers are fantastic. Our attacking performances is great. And our goal output is an outlier. You can't complain. If we have a look at the club vision, the only objective next season is to attempt to avoid relegation, which makes me think that either this is going to be a big step up in style, or maybe we're going to be able to overachieve and the board's just being polite. So I'm not actually sure which one's going to be best for us here. And I'm not sure whether the director of football can deliver again. Let's go and accept that vision because that's fine. The dynamics are great. We've got good leaders in the club, albeit one of them's got a long-term injury and the other one's about to retire. We've got 1 or 2 out of contract in the highly influentials as well, so there are some potential issues with that. The end of season team meeting we'll do off camera, but everything else has been brilliant. We have actually had a few injury problems this year. We had the long-term one to Comey. Obviously, Park missed the big end of the season and he's going to be out a few more months as well, but thankfully it came just about as we got over the line. We've also had problems with the likes of Ishii, of course the backup goalkeeper, and also a couple of others with 4 or 5 weeks out as well, but not too many massive disasters. We've got to be fair there. Probably about the regular amount of injuries you'd expect. If we go through and have a look though at the squad planner, this is where I'm a little bit worried for next season, because if we have a look now, it's just ticked over. We've got the same goalkeepers as now, but we arguably are going to need an upgrade. At left back, we've got nothing but a 17-year-old. That isn't going to be good enough. Right back's fine. I'm happy with that. Fujitani and Najim, excellent stuff. Centre halves, Ortiz has been great. Endo and Fujitani are good squad players. Kenmotsu's out of contract though. The lone player is going back, who has been a revelation since coming in. That's going to be an area of improvement. And you look at the squad planner here, there's not many areas of strength, and I think that's what my biggest concern is. In midfield, we've only really got Park and Keita. Nothing else behind that but a homegrown lad. On the right, we've got 2 good players, but one of them is also our starting striker. On the left, there's only one option. Target man is only one option. And yes, we've got 3 players who are good in the advanced forward role, but bar Hanya, the other 2 are starters in other positions, and Hanya's our backup on the right. So there is definitely an issue with squad depth. I mean, it's actually mentioned there, poor positional depth, but we are going to need a lot more strengthening than we needed last winter. And that's where I become a bit worried about the director of football. Where do they prioritise when there's 5 or 6 weaknesses rather than just 1 or 2? That's going to be the big question mark. Of course, I genuinely don't know at this point if we're going to be here to see it, because the director of football, I trust to do a decent job. The problem is, we're at a 1.5-star reputation club. We've won a promotion, we're about to get our 2nd coaching badge, and we've now been given the expectation to attempt to avoid relegation. Now, if we do turn out to be one of the weakest sides, and we stay and we come back down, that isn't going to help us progress in our career. So what I've been doing as a result of that is basically been getting a bit of a feel up for what level of job we can expect, because as they've been coming up in the last month or 2, I have been applying for most jobs between 2 and 2.5 star. At the moment, we've had no luck. I've been looking both in Japan in the top division, but the only ones really coming up are sort of 3-star. The only 2-star is a relegated club. There's no point moving within a division. But I am having a look at the likes of Poland. I am looking at Croatia, and I'm seeing what jobs are insecure or might become available. At the minute, the problem we've got is that there's no real 2-star jobs available other than in the J2 League, in League 2 in England, or 2.5-star jobs that are popping up elsewhere, where so far we don't seem to be getting a look in. For example, I applied for Bero in Bulgaria, a job at the bottom of Polish football. I'm also going to apply for this job in the Greek Super League. I'm also going to apply for the job in the German second tier. But I think we're at the stage where it's a little bit too early for that at the minute. And while there is a club that have just come down from the J1 League, I feel it would be very aggressive for us to go to another club within the division when they've gone down by so many points as well. They were 15 behind the rest. I'm also looking at other opportunities available. There is one in the second tier of France, but again, are we going to be in for a relegation battle and then maybe missing out on what we've got? I don't really know what the position is here. Yes, we could stay, but if we are, as is suggested, going to be one of the weakest teams in a division next year, I don't want to get stuck in this loophole like we've had in Wales before, where we go back down or we end up struggling and then we don't progress at all as a manager. So I'm interested to get your thoughts. Ultimately, I will make the right decision, and if we are at a 1.5-star reputation club and a 2-star or a 2.5 comes along, offers us more money, offers us an opportunity closer to home, I probably can't say no from a realism point of view. I'd love to know in the comments what you think I should do. I genuinely don't know if this squad is going to be weaker. Of course, plenty of jobs are going to come up in Europe over the winter period because it's the mid-season there and teams will be panicking. And potentially by the point where we've got a decision to make, if we get one at all, we might have even had 3 or 4 signings and know whether we're going to be strong or weak next season. And that will make it a lot easier. But I think initially over the next month, it's going to be juggling between, is our director of football doing enough to keep me on board for next year and give us a chance to survive and survive comfortably? And alternatively, on the flip side of that, are we going to get offered a job that is good enough or big enough to tempt us away? Because if we can trade the second tier of Japan for the second tier of Germany or France, then great. If we can trade it for Greece or Poland and a top tier job, then great. But I would suggest after a year and a half and with only 2 coaching badges, that would probably be a little bit premature. So I think on the balance of probabilities, I'm edging towards the fact we might end up staying here, probably through natural selection and not being offered a job rather than through choice. But I won't be devastated if we've got the core of this squad here. I'll be really interested to see what happens with some of the loan players and the people who are out of contract. We've got the likes of Asako, we've got the likes of Ken Motsu, even Ishii, the backup wingers, who are quite useful players in the squad that are out of contract this year. We've also got other people who have been on loan who have been brilliant for us, but what are we going to do afterwards? Komi, Ibasuki, are they now good enough for their parent clubs, or can we get them back again? Will the director of football even think about it? So many questions to be answered, so much for our director of football to do. I want to have a very quick look before we finish to see if he has improved at all, because he was into his 60s now, but you can see his judging of player ability has actually improved, and I'm not surprised because the players he's picked out have been brilliant, and that should be reflected in his attributes. So I'm really interested to see how he gets on and how he addresses rebuilding this squad in a transfer window, whether he goes mad with the big budget the club have given him for the next season, or whether he sticks to his principles and delivers us a good squad. Don't forget, 2.3 million transfer budget, 15 grand extra on the wage budget. He's been given an opportunity to push if he wants, but will he spend the money wisely or waste it? Add to that a few players are still wanted in our squad, albeit not many of the key ones at the moment, and we could be left with a few frustrations if we do remain at FC Gifu. If you want to find out if we are though, and you did enjoy that brilliant finish to a remarkable first full season, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. I can't think of an early stint of a save I've enjoyed more than this in the head coach. I really have found FC Gifu and Japanese football good fun, but you're always going to find it fun when you're succeeding, aren't you? I'm sure next season will be a little bit trickier at the higher level, with clubs with bigger finances, bigger players, and I'm sure bigger attendances too. If you want to stay up to date and find out if we're still here, whether we've got to move to Europe or whether we're in J2 with Gifu, and please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow to find out, but in the meantime, we will be back with Southend United tomorrow morning. I hope you're enjoying that as we move into our second full season there. And in that one, we are in charge of transfers, staffing and contracts, so I can't have much excuse if that goes wrong. If you want to catch up with that one so far, you can find it in the eye above, as well as the Twitch channel, the football podcast and the top 3 playlist too. But thank you very much for following our first full season with FC Gifu, an incredibly successful one which probably isn't great watching for the head coach, but with a relegation battle surely on our hands next year, it could be back to reality if we're not on the move. I'll see you next time to find out if we are.